Right mates, how's it going? In today's video, we're starting Shadows Rising by Madeleine Roux. Obviously it's going to take a while to get through the whole book, but it'll be nice to be somewhat relevant for a change. So let's go! Anduin Wrynn was currently riding Reverence through the wounded plains of Westfall, as if his life depended on it. And his loyal friend and spy master Matthias Shaw was having a crap time trying to keep up. "Sire, slow down, damn it! My horse is going to throw a shoe!" But Anduin didn't care. In fact, he just spurred Reverence even faster. He couldn't slow down. Not for anything. "Sire!" Okay, maybe he should slow down. Anduin finally relented, pulling gently on his horse's reins, allowing the spy master to catch up. "My apologies. That must have been a taxing ride for you, you old fart. You didn't tell me this was a race. With fair warning, I would have left you crying in the dust. Your Majesty." "Oh yeah? We'll have to put that to the test." "Maybe. But first you're going to tell me why you're riding like an absolute maniac. Last thing we need is you getting thrown and snapping your royal neck." Shaw had a rough way about him, but Anduin actually kinda appreciated his harsh forward manner. Most people bowed and walked on eggshells in the king's presence, but not this asshole. "You know, when I was very young and learning to ride, my father took me to the stables and gave me my first pony. Dappled, gentle, 13 hands. I asked my father why horses were measured in hands. He just grinned at me and said he didn't know, and then yelled at a stable hand, asking if he knew. He didn't either. Poor lad was barely older than I was, looked like he was going to poo himself. Marvin, I think his name was. I didn't know him." Anduin knew Shaw was holding something back. He almost certainly knew Marvin, and Marvin had probably died somehow, in one war or another. Or maybe his house had collapsed in the cataclysm and the ground had swallowed him whole. But Anduin pushed that bitter thought aside. "I was shocked. My father, the King of Stormwind, had just admitted his own ignorance in front of a servant. I even told him as much. Do you know what he said? No. He said, 'Only an absolute moron thinks himself an expert in everything. The wise man admits his limitations and endeavours to know more.'" Both Shaw and Anduin then fell silent for a moment, thinking about that little nugget of wisdom. He wasn't an easy king to serve, but there was satisfaction in the challenge. Same can't be said for all rulers. "You what, mate?" "Oh, there's satisfaction in service to your crown too, it's just a bit more of a challenge. Case in point, you're avoiding my question." "No, Shaw. I was answering your question. I'm acknowledging my limitations. Today was... Anduin desperately tried to find the right word to describe today. Difficult? Nah. Disheartening? No, that's not it. Shit? No. Crushing. That was it. Tyrande and Malfurion had buggered off to Nordrassil, and were ignoring any missive Anduin sent. No matter how much Anduin told himself that the rift between humans and night elves could be bridged, the fact that there was a rift at all kind of upset him. He couldn't blame them though. Their home had burned down under his watch. Suddenly, a plume of smoke shot up just west of Saldine's farm, accompanied by a loud boom and a scream. What was that? Caution. It could be an ambush. These are my people, my lands, and your enemies would use that against you. But Anduin could hear the anguished cry coming from the barn and wasn't going to just stand by helplessly, so he charged off, with Shaw once again chasing after him. But as they entered the barn, they just saw 3 men having a heated argument. "Jago, you bloody twat! I said you could shelter in my barn, not use it for your mad experiments." The older farmer then lunged at Jago, but stopped when he heard the unmistakable sound of steel being unsheathed. "Gentlemen, is there a problem here?" "He's no gentleman. He's a lousy drunk, using my barn to brew his bedeviled moonshine. Look at my roof. How am I supposed to afford repairs?" At that point, the farmer must have realised who it was he was actually talking to, because he made a meagre attempt to bow his head. I would have his side of the story too. But as he turned to Jago, the man just spat at his feet and almost fell over. "There. That's so much side as the story is worth. That's all I've left in the world. Nothing. Of nothing. Nothing." Jago then fell forwards towards the king, but was intercepted by Shaw. "I wouldn't if I were you." "Do it. Use that sword of yours. I was there. I saw when the Forsaken Queen turned on her own." Anduin froze as Jago fell on his ass. "Arathi. I was there. My Wilmer. He was there, and he was changed. One of them. All rotten and strange, but still Wilmer. Still the best man I ever knew and loved." Jago's rage then took over again, and he thrust a finger out towards Anduin. "You could have stopped her. You could have saved them." "That is not how you address your king." "My king?" "Nah. King of fools, maybe." "It's all right, Shaw. I'm sorry, Jago. I'm true." A shadow. I beg your pardon? Jago then picked himself up and started to walk off, but as the fresh air outside the barn hit him, he face-planted the ground, falling inches from the pointed leather boots of Illyria Windrunner. He's still breathing. Fantastic. How am I supposed to pay for this? Jago doesn't have a copper to his name. Speak to Captain Danovan. He can lend you some of the garrison boys to see to the damage. Yeah, bunch of bollocks. Anduin then approached Illyria. You're early. Is early a good sign? No, it's not good news, I'm afraid. My sister is not stupid. She's using all of her dark power to conceal herself. You're the finest hunter I know, Illyria. Not one I expected to fail. We'll keep trying. She can't hide forever. Soon enough, she'll have to show herself. And when she does, she'll have the full might of her enemies bearing down upon her. Anduin stared at the blonde elf, and suddenly felt an unpleasant whisper from the dark recesses of his memory. Once, Illyria had suggested to him that Sylvanas face N'Zoth. She and Verisa had been convinced it was the wisest course of action. Why not let their most pressing threat fight yet another pressing threat? But Anduin had refused, because that request had seemed absolutely mental. Why had Illyria asked him such a thing? How could she be so blind as to extend a chance to someone as treacherous as Sylvanas Windrunner? And now she'd failed in her one explicit task to track her sister down and bring her to justice. Was she hiding something? Was he being a dumbass by keeping this void elf at his side? No. Illyria had proven herself many times, and she spoke true. Sylvanas was no simple quarry. The hunt would continue, and Anduin, as king, would find a way to keep faith in their odds. That was his duty. Come, let us return to Stormwind and decide our next approach. Sylvanas will not rest, and so neither will we. And we're leaving it there! I don't usually do the prologues and epilogues, but I can't resist an opportunity to do drunk characters. This is actually mostly a Horde book though, so it's not all that important, but still interesting to see Anduin being all paranoid and stuff. As usual, link in the description if you're interested in buying this book. Also, there's links to my Discord server and my Patreon page too. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, all of that bollocks. And all that's left to say is, thanks for watching, and see ya!